Welcome everybody to Football Cruise on Ninja Footballers TV. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian. The World Cup is still on. Just before the kickoff of the World Cup, there were talks it's going to be boring without the Super Eagles. But let me bring the guys, on this now. Guys, Bolu, how's the World Cup been for you so far? Has it been boring, interesting, a lot of actions and stuff like that?
Well, I had doubts before the tournament kicked off, but to be very honest, ever since the first day of the tournament, it's been a celebration of football all through. It's been a fantastic tournament in terms of the football. Of course, we don't know what exactly has been going on behind the scenes in Qatar itself. So far, I think I've heard some good reports. But in terms of the football, what's been happening on the pitch has been fantastic. There have been so many upsets. So much magic has happened. In fact, it's been a fantastic tournament, and I can't wait to see the rest of it.
Super Ned, how's the World Cup been for you so far? Has it been boring without the Super Eagles?
Boring? No way. Dramatic. Extra dramatic. Like, my favorite moment of the World Cup was when the World Cup had Costa Rica and Japan qualifying at the same time for Germany. I really wish that fairy tale had gone through, but Germany just had to spoil the fun and Spain just had to survive. So, World Cup has been very exciting, dramatic. It's been a fantastic World Cup so far.
Well, it's been fantastic. We are not at the World Cup, but our manager, Joseph Pesero, is currently in Qatar enjoying the World Cup.
And our former NFF president as well.
He's also there as well enjoying the World Cup. So one way or the other, we are represented. But guys, the African teams, this is the first time 5, of the African teams are going there with their indigenous coaches. But how have they fared so far in Qatar? We'll go on a quick break now. After this break, we'll talk about the African teams. Don't you go anywhere. It is the Football Cruise on Ninja Footballers TV. Welcome back, guys. It is still Football Cruise on Ninja Footballers TV. Guys, before we went on that break, I was talking about the African teams. I mean, let's start off with, we won't dwell so much on Ghana and Tunisia because they've been knocked out already. But this man is already laughing. He's the happiest man now. Ghana's been knocked out. No. But I mean, that game, let me start with you, Supernet. That game, Ghana needed a draw to scale through. They lost that game 2-0.
I saw it coming. The funny thing about that game was that the Ghanaians, they needed a draw. But I think what happened was that they went into that game with the wrong mindset. Their minds were all about revenge. Suarez going down. We're here to end Suarez. Yeah. And I think that was the wrong way to approach that game. They had to be focused. I mean, you saw the handshake moment before the game when the
I saw that.
You saw Ayu's eyes. You saw the players how they were all looking at Suarez. They made it all about Suarez, and that's why they lost focus. That's part one of the reason why they lost focus. But on the tactical side also, I did not expect much from the Ghanaians because seeing how disappointing they were in that first half against Portugal, how the attacking transition was practically zero, I was not expecting them to put up such a performance against Uruguay, knowing that Uruguay were coming in for do or die, in that game. And Uruguay just got, they even had a penalty. Okay, the Ghanaians had a penalty, and they still fumbled it. They were invoking the spirit of Guyana. I don't know, Guyana and they are used to be having dinner somewhere after the tournament. But the thing is, the Ghanaians lost focus from the get-go. Once they made it all about Suarez, and it really came back to bite them. And well, Uruguay deservedly got the win, but unfortunately, I think Ghanaians just were controlled by the fact that Uruguay also got knocked out thanks to Korea's last minute.
It's such a sad one for Uruguay. Bolu, don't say much, please. Pity the Ghanaians. quick one. What went wrong for Ghana in that game and got knocked out?
Like he said, they were not focused. They were, before the tournaments, they were focused on releasing their squad list late. They were focused on to confuse the opponents. They were focused on Suarez. They were distracted. If you want to be serious at the World Cup, you come to win. You don't come to do any other thing. And fortunately, the serious teams have not been separated from the unserious. So Ghana are deservedly where they should be at home. Back to us at home. So I think everything is back to normal now. Everybody's where they should be.
All right, for Tunisia, I mean, you won, the defending champions, and you got knocked out. Cameroon, you won Brazil, you got knocked out. I mean, what a way to bow out for these two African teams. Yeah.
It was very impressive. I like the fact that they were able to take advantage of the fact that these two teams fielded their feeder.
Second 11.
There's no way Cameroon will beat a full-strength Brazil team. We all know that. There's no way France will lose with their full-strength team to a Tunisian team. But they decided to field their weaker team, and Tunisia and Cameroon made them pay. And I think I like that. At least that gave, it adds something to their CV. Hey, we left the World Cup, but at least we bowed out beating these big guns. And it's something to really be proud of, Tunisia at this World Cup played very good football. They were just unfortunate in the final third. That's what I was just saying. They need to work on their final third dynamics. If not, I see Tunisia. They don't have big names, okay? It's only Wabi Kodri that is their big name in that squad. But I was impressed with their plays. I think among all the African teams, they're one of the few teams that I think played really good football at the tournament alongside Morocco. For me, they've even been more impressive than Senegal, even though Senegal made the round of 16. Cameroon, they were more of power, agidi, yodid, gra. It got them to win against Brazil because Brazil, on their own hand, were out of sync. In an entirely new 11, a lot of changes. And again, there been no this question about Brazil selection problems in their midfield. And I think it came to bear in that game. But Cameroon took advantage. Abubakar, and to tell how much it meant to him, even took off his shirt, got a red card for it. But he didn't even care that he was beating Brazil's second team. It doesn't matter. Scoring against Brazil in the World Cup is a big deal for any African player. So that's why it meant too much to Abubakar.
I want to give the credit to Cameroon.
Yeah.
Even though Brazil fielded the second 11, that team is still good enough to defeat any African teams. Even some teams in Europe.
Yeah.
Would you want? Abubakar. What an event for him. But you would want to give all the credit to Cameroon. You want to agree with him that it was the second team from Brazil.
No, I'll give Cameroon the credits because on their part it wasn't a fluke result in the sense that
despite the distraction, the unannounced situation, and
we also saw the comeback they undertook against Serbia.
Yeah.
So it was like a continuation of their form and their results, which doesn't look so bad. And it's also credit to them for the fact that throughout that game, Brazil had actually dominated, despite the fact that it was their second 11. They had dominated that game from minute 1 to 89 when Abubakar scored. So it was. I think that was the game plan to frustrate Brazil, make sure they don't score, and they try to make something of it in the final stages. And it works for them perfectly. Abubakar took his moments, legendary moments. He has so many legendary moments for the Cameroon national team now, and that's just another one of it. And it's a World Cup moment that not just him or Camerooners, every African can remember in years from now that, do you remember when Cameroon beat Brazil and Abubakar took off his shirt and got a red card, probably in his final World Cup. It's something it's folklore, it's World Cup memories, and these are things I can remember in 20 years from now that Cameroon were one of the first African teams to actually beat Brazil in the World Cup, and the first African teams to actually score against Brazil in the World Cup. That's something to be proud about, and kudos to Cameroon, even though they didn't qualify.
What a moment for Abubakar scoring against Brazil. Did the Messi celebration, held his shirt up high, did the Ronaldo peace of mind celebration, got a tap from the referee, got a second yellow, red card, waved goodbye to the fans. What a moment. But
the man is a legend.
And he's also proving that he said, remember he made a comment that anything Salah can do, I can do better.
Yeah, exactly. I won't go into that. But let's switch gears now to the guys who did better. Senegal. It was quite disappointing. I wasn't expecting them to lose the way they lost to England, last night. But, Senegal, how would you rate that performance? There were distractions before in the build up to that game. Talk of Alice, you say, being ill and stuff like that. Wasn't in training. But good to see him on the dugout, at the end of the day. But what went wrong for Senegal? They did well in the group stages against Ecuador and the Netherlands.
Yeah, Ali Cisse himself said after the game that they were taught a lesson by England, that the champions of Africa, they've worked hard to get to the top of the tree in Africa, but unfortunately they were undone by a top 5 team in the world, which is reality. That's what it is. And it just shows the gulf in class between a top African side and a top 5 side in the world. And it's a harsh lesson for Senegal, but you also have to remember that Senegal were missing a number of key players that could have made the result a bit different. They were missing Mane from the start of the tournament. They were missing Kouyaté as he was injured since their first game. So with those two quality players and the experience they have, the game could have been a bit different. It could have been a bit more competitive. It was a competitive start for Senegal. They started very well in the first 30 minutes, but they lost their way against the quality of England. And it's not much of a surprise that they lost the game, but it's quite a surprise how they fell like a pack of cards after the first goal. But it just shows the level of quality at this level, and how much concentration is required, how much quality is required. And Senegal will be back. They'll be back. Remember 2018 they lost out because of fair play rule. This year they got to the round of 16, and they keep improving. And I'm so impressed that the African teams, all 5 African teams, actually got a win this year, which is a stark contrast from 4 years ago when all 5 African countries only got 8 points. This year they all got 24, which is very, very good. And like you said, they all have indigenous coaches, so I'm very proud of all the African nations at the World Cup this year.
Super Ned, for Senegal, African champions, the expectations were really high. Yeah, they got out of the group, but do you think midfield was the problem of Senegal yesterday.
Sure.
I mean, with the crop of players that they fielded in that game against England.
Sure. It was definitely a problem. Like you said, they missed Kouyaté. Another player they missed was Ghana Gueye. That's their biggest guy in the midfield, and he was practically suspended for that game. So it was always going to be a mountain to climb for that Senegalese midfield against that well-drilled English midfield with the young and exciting Bellingham, Henderson, and Rice. It was going to be a mountain to climb. Papi Sarr and Nampali Mendy, they did their best, but they couldn't keep up tactically with the
Do you think the midfielders were same? They were not
style of play? They were not sanks. They were just torn apart. Like they couldn't even string passes together like that in that game. But they had their moment, like you said, they had their moment when they went on the attack against England when Bola Idea pulled that beautiful save off Pickford.
Yeah,
I believe if they had someone like Mane in this team playing that game yesterday, those moments Senegal had in attack would have ended up maybe differently. Mane is a fantastic finisher. He's the kind of guy you want at the end of your move in the final third. I believe if he had played yesterday, even if Senegal would not have won, they would have scored a goal. But the way they fell apart yesterday, the absences were glaring, and their midfield problem is Senegal is a team that boasts more of defensive-minded midfielders. All their players are defensive-minded. Look at even the best ones coming up: Pape Sarr of Tottenham, the guy from Marseille. They are all defensive-minded midfielders. So that's a problem. And when all your players are defensive-minded, and you set them up in a midfield three against another midfield that have well-defined midfield players who know their route and who know how to execute their route, it will be a problem because all you have are players that can work hard, run after the ball, but when they are on the ball, what can they do with it? Who can open up for the other to get a pass? Nobody was doing that for Senegal. Nobody was dictating play. Nobody was linking up with the other. Nobody was open. So that was the problem. And it was glaring yesterday. That's why England Bellingham especially rolled through that midfield. Yeah. They had fun. It was very, very disappointing because we saw a USA make Bellingham look ordinary, but Senegal, African champions, Bellingham just used them for dinner, and it was disappointing. Well, like I said, I believe they'll be back, but yesterday was just poor.
Well, we all believe they will be back, and our final hopes, talking about the African team, rest in the hands of Morocco.
Yeah.
Morocco will be taking on Spain, but how will these guys fare in that game? We'll go on another quick break on the show, and when we return, the guys will quickly preview that game, Morocco against Spain. Stick around. It is still Football Cruise on Nigeria Footballers TV. Welcome back, guys. It is still Football Cruise on Nigeria Footballers TV. Guys, Morocco against Spain, two countries that are close to each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, what are the chances of Morocco making it past Spain in this tournament? I mean, they are the only African team left in this tournament. Bolu, Morocco, Spain, do you think they have any chance to get past the former champion Spain?
Well, on paper, they have very little chances, but if you look closely, aside the fact that there have been a lot of upsets, we've seen Tunisia beat France, we've seen Cameroon beat Brazil, we've seen a lot of upsets like that. It's very possible. But then if you look closely, in the 2018 World Cup, they were in the same group, and Morocco were a few seconds away from beating Spain, save for a little equalizer that could have made them actually qualify from that group. And since then, Morocco have improved, Spain themselves have improved. So I think it will be a tighter contest. And seeing that Morocco have themselves beat Belgium this year, I mean, in this tournament so far, they beat Belgium, they drew against Croatia. So it's, they'll go there with full confidence, knowing that they can beat any top European team. And I'm really looking forward to see what comes of it. It just feels like, in the end, Spain might have too much quality on the bench, at least in terms of a knockout game, a World Cup knockout game, who you can bring off the bench and all that. But I think Morocco are going to give a very good fight, and I'm looking forward to see what goes on in that game.
Supernet, before I come to you, I mean, I like the progress of this Morocco team. I mean, back home in Morocco, they are doing fantastic when it comes to their football. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a federation that built a complex in Morocco, and that complex is used by all age groups national teams in Morocco, under 17, under 20. I mean, it's just fascinating to see. And one of the ideas doing that was when players like Ziyech, Hakimi, who trained
Mazraoui, the ones that were born
in
Europe,
with big clubs in Europe with the facilities. When you come to Morocco, you want to train. There's not much difference because the facilities is also as standard as you have it in your club. But I mean, I just need to applaud the progress and all that. But moving away from that now, against Spain, a country that they know too well. I know Morocco has been your favorite team, in this World Cup so far. But do you think this would be the final road for them against Spain?
As much as I love the Moroccans and I always stand with them no matter where they end up in the tournament, I think Spain is a really tough call. But I'm not going to rule out their chances because, like you said, in 2018 they gave that Spanish side a very good run. And
yeah, they met at the group stages in 2018. Yeah.
No, they didn't make it out of the group stage.
Yeah, they met in the group
stage, exactly. But I believe Morocco won. For me, Morocco won that game. In my mind, they won that game 2-1. That equalizer was just Ojuru. For me, it was Magoba.
Yeah, I remember that moment.
Yeah, it was very controversial. That was offside, but it's okay. They robbed us. But now, the Spanish team, I think right now are even stronger in terms of quality, and I think the Moroccan team too now is also stronger in terms of quality and experience. And the team was in that tournament, well. And the coaching especially is very, very good. And this is the guy that I just played. He had only played 6 games. He had only coached 6 games with this Moroccan side. He came from Wydad Casablanca, winning the CAF Champions League. He had been coaching the Moroccan side. They've only conceded once, which was in this World Cup against Canada.
An own goal
got by Moroccan. So he's yet to really consider properly against opposition play. But I think their chances are slim, because the Spanish side is a team known for starving you of the ball. The thing about Morocco's chances is what they can do with the ball when they have it. Because one thing that is for sure is Spain will dominate possession.
Yeah.
They will starve Morocco of the ball, and if you don't have the ball, how can you hurt your opponent? So Morocco will have to be like Japan in this instant. Make the most of what you can on the ball and transit quickly, vertically, as fast as possible to hurt Spain. Because if Spain get on the ball, to get it back will be difficult. Those guys, they know how to hold the ball till the end of the game. So Morocco, I still give them a slight chance of getting through. They have the weight and quality in them to stun the big boys. But I think Spain also, knowing what it at stake, would not want to just roll over and allow Morocco to come stun them. But it will be a very good game. I know Morocco will go down the way Senegal went down against England. But Spain are the favorite, but I'm not really on Morocco. That's what I would just say.
I'll come back to you when they go down, the way Senegal. But I mean, one thing we can't take away from this Moroccans is, they've had huge fan base at the World Cup in Qatar. Whenever I think in terms of attendance, I think they are going to overpower Spain in that game, because I mean they were in the Arab Cup. We're talking about Morocco competing in the Arab Cup. They were there last year, and the fans were so much in the stadium. Even at this World Cup so far, all the games they've played, against their opponent, they've had the highest number of fans attending the game, and this might just go on to play a major role for Morocco heading into that game against Spain. So, quick one, final predictions: Bolu, Morocco, Spain. What do you think is going to end?
2-1. I don't know if we go to extra time, but 2-1 to Spain. 2-1
to Spain. Well, Superned, I know you want Morocco to win, but what are the predictions you're going to give for this game?
I go with the predictions.
So in favor of Morocco or in favor of Spain?
In favor of Spain, but I'm open to a shock.
You don't sound confident.
I'm open to a shock. I want Morocco to win, but I just have to just give it to Spain. They're the favorite, and it's likely to be 2-1. At least it will not be 3-0 like the way Senegal would back. So.
All right, I think that game is going to be our first game to go into extra time and probably a penalty shootout. So for me, I'm predicting a draw and a penalty shootout. Maybe Morocco might just sneak that one ahead of Spain. I think they have everything it takes to win Spain in that game. They have Yusuf El-Nesri, the first Moroccan player to score in 2 World Cups. And with the fans behind them, Morocco might just go on to shock Spain in that round of 16 fixtures. And with that, guys, this is a wrap on the show today. We keep on enjoying the World Cup and hopefully more twists and turns, more dramas as we go on. Guys, don't forget to always keep it up with us across all our social media platforms, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for premium Nigerian football content. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian. I've been with Super Ned and Bolu on the show. Till we come away again next time, keep cruising.